Now on the Suze Orman Show. Financial infidelity. Are you being lied to about money?
Here are some red flags.
Also, Melissa thought they were doing great until a phone call broke the trust.
Wednesday was the first day that I hadn't cried.
She asked about money. I just didn't tell her the truth.
And you ask Suze, can I afford it?
May I purchase a 40-lesson golf package for $2,300?
Yeah, it's bad to be out there and everybody makes the ball, and I hit it and it goes pump, 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 pump. Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Have you lied about money? Have you been lied to about money? Well, I'm here to tell you, chances are you have. Do you know that 1 out of every 3 people who combine finances with a spouse or partner admits to financial infidelity? So what is financial infidelity? We've seen it over and over again on this show. This is where one member of a couple could be hiding assets or debt, or they're secretly spending or borrowing money that the other person doesn't even know about. Unless you are completely open about your money, there's probably some sort of financial infidelity going on. So I thought you needed to know what the signs of financial infidelity are. So here are some red flags. Disappearing bills. Now, what do I mean by that? Have you ever noticed the mail comes in, and when you have your bills, you usually just leave them around, and then maybe a day or two later, you gather them and put them where they need to be so that you can pay them? If you don't see bills lying around, if everything's hidden, if they just kind of disappear, something is wrong with that equation, because that's just not normal behavior. Or you go to where the bills are kept and there are no bills there, especially credit card bills or things like that, or your your deposits. You have to be worried. Is your partner not willing to share passwords to online accounts? It is important that you have passwords to every single account that you have, and you go online and make sure that those passwords are still valid. You have got to look at the money that you have in your accounts. Is it what you think you should have? When you just go on autopilot and you think everything's okay and you don't check, you are asking for trouble. Next, your partner is spending more than they used to, and if you ask, they say, oh, don't worry about it, especially if they say, don't worry your pretty little head about it. You better worry about it. You got that? So it's important that when you ask about money, that everybody's open with you. When they're spending more money than normally, you go, honey, why are you doing that? And they have an answer, but they need to be accountable to you. And if they just don't want to talk about it, that is a sign that something is wrong. Also, has their behavior changed? Do they get nervous when the bills come in? Or when you're out to eat and they get the bill, then they pay with a credit card, are they nervous that maybe, just maybe, it will come back denied? Or again, do they get nervous when you want to talk about money? These are signs that you have got to pay attention to. And believe it or not, have they gained weight? What does weight gain have to do with hidden debt? Well, I'm here to tell you, we have found a trend over all these years on the Suze Orman Show, not true in every case, but a lot of cases, is that when you have hidden debt from somebody you love, it is possible you gain 1 pound for every $1,000 of hidden debt there is. So if you feel you're being lied to, what should you do? The main thing you should do is not become a liar yourself. Don't go sneaking around. Don't go saying things that aren't true. I want you to confront it head on. Now, you cannot ask a person who is lying to you, are you lying to me? Because they're just going to lie to you again. So you need to say to them, honey, I am not feeling comfortable about the money, and I want to see all statements, credit cards, everything, the bills. And I want to check our credit reports, all 3 of them, and our FICO credit scores. I want to see it myself. Now, why do I want you to check credit reports? Because you may not be aware that there are open credit cards in your name or his name or her name. But if you check a credit report, you will see everything that's opened. You'll see the credit cards, you'll see the balances, you'll see it all. So it is important that you do that, not just for you, but for your partner or spouse's reports as well. If you could do all that, then you're going to know the truth, and you need to continue to check it just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. And that brings us to my one-on-one tonight, Robert and Melissa, because things have gone wrong. Melissa thought they had close to $100,000 in savings and no credit card debt, but a $50 online purchase brought her world tumbling down. She and her husband asked us to conceal their identities to protect their jobs, but here's their story.
It's only been a week. And Wednesday was the first day that I hadn't cried. And I felt like proud about that. And then, you know, today and yesterday were just, you know, hard days.
I can remember one of these reality shows where the husband did what I have done. And, you know, I remember my wife saying to me, if you ever do something like that, right? I remember wanting to come clean at that moment.
I went to buy something online for $50 and my credit card was declined.
I got the call in the middle of the afternoon. I said, you know, to myself, here we go. This is it.
I thought that our financial picture was great. We had money in the bank, lots of money in the bank. We had investments, and we had no credit card debt.
We find ourselves $70,000 in credit card debt, no savings, and it's a situation that I put us in.
It is a financial infidelity, and I don't know if it would have been better if he had just cheated on me.
So where did the money go, is the question, right? Over all this time. Family trips, dinners out with friends, you know, and picking up tabs in some cases, shopping for ourselves, shopping for kids, car repairs. It's life.
We have lived a wonderful life for 7 years that we couldn't afford.
She asked about money. I just didn't tell her the truth. That charge being declined was the best thing that could have happened. I've been a cranky person, you know, for the past 5-6 years.
Susie, I'm $70,000 in credit card debt, and I feel like our financial life is a mess, and I need your help.
Before we begin, I just want to tell all the viewers that the reason Melissa and Robert are in shadow is because they both work for the government, and we are protecting their jobs because you're not allowed to have debt in their jobs. And so we have to turn this situation around for them for many reasons, but we're doing it to protect them, so I hope all of you understand that. So Melissa and Robert, how did that feel listening to that recap of your life for the past 7 years? Melissa, I'll start with you.
Just listening to it was painful and brought back a lot of emotions.
Yeah, and Robert, how about for you?
Sobering would be the word, I think, and painful.
Here's what I really want to understand, because financially, we'll get to that later on. Right now, we have to talk about your relationship. We have to talk about how do we fix what really has been broken. And the main thing that has been broken is trust between the two of you on some level. But the reason, again, in my opinion, that trust became broken is, Robert, something happened within you for your self-worth to go so low that you had to define yourself by all these things that you were buying, even picking up tabs when you knew what you were doing. So why do you think that happened to you?
You know, Susie, I think that I don't know the answer to that is the honest answer. And it's something that I'm committed to working to try to find out. There's a whole side to this mess that, you know, I'm responsible for. And in terms of our relationship, you know, that's we're going to work on this. I think we're committed to working on our relationship together. And, you know, I don't want to say, you know, I didn't want to say no to Melissa. I didn't want to say.
Why? So I'm not worried, believe it or not, about the relationship as much between the two of you. I'm more worried about the relationship that you have with yourself, Robert. Can you take me back to the very first time that you committed financial infidelity? Can you remember that very first time when you crossed over to lying about money?
You know, I think back to we took a vacation overseas, and I remember that we charged that, and I recall that when the bill came, only paying a portion of it, right? And it was at that moment that I felt odd. Strange.
And is that, I have to ask, and did you only pay a portion of it at that time because you had absolutely no money in your checking account or savings account?
No. I think it was, as I recall, that it was, you know, the money was being programmed for something else, right? So if it cost $5,000, you know, maybe it was a payment of $2,000 because the other $3,000 was committed to something else.
Because I do find it interesting that all of this started, you guys, right around 2007, 2008, 2009, when the economy was going down the drain. Nobody was doing good on any level. Everybody was losing their jobs, yet you escalated your spending and were doing things at a time when nobody else could do it, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's right. And you know, it was at a time we had been in our house. When we bought that house, it was based on one income. It was based on Melissa's income. And so, you know, logically, right, we should have had all this disposable income to do what we wanted to do, right?
But you didn't. Let me ask Melissa this. Melissa, why do you think Robert was so afraid to talk to you? In fact, Melissa, have you asked him that question?
I have asked him that question. I don't think he can answer it right now. I don't know the answer to that. I would ask him questions about money repeatedly. It was something that we talked about regularly in the house, and I didn't know that I was being lied to, and I'm not sure why. He has said a number of times, "I just didn't want to tell you no. I wanted you to be happy." And I've also said to him that, you know, there's something going on inside you that you need to work on. There's something there.
Yeah. And when he would say that, because you would ask him about money, so that says to me, when you asked him about money, you knew something was wrong. Something did not feel right to you, correct?
No, I don't think in the beginning, and I don't think that's right. I think I wanted to know what was going on. I always wanted to know how much we had in our savings, or how much I didn't think we had any credit card debt. I wanted to know. I didn't want to be in the dark. It wasn't until probably the last few months that I started thinking, what's going on? And because he was talking so much about money and don't spend, and that's when I started to think that maybe something isn't right.
Yeah, and I have to ask you this, Robert, because people normally do what you did because they want to show their friends, not just their family. They want to show their friends how great you're doing. You live in a fancy house, you're taking vacations, you go out to eat, you pick up the bills. It's you feeling less than your friends, and it's like you wanting to keep up with your friends. Did any of that come to play?
Perhaps subconsciously, but I'll tell you, you know, we've had this conversation too, because it's like, you know, we've never felt like we need to keep up with the Joneses, because quite frankly, when you look at the numbers, we are the Joneses. But really, the big thing that changed over these past 6 months is the fact that we moved into a new house, right? And it required us to, you know, both pay, right? Or at least, dip
But
into.
this
right.
hasn't been going on for the past 6 months.
Right. No,
This
you're
has
right.
been going on for 7 years. 7
Sure.
years you have been outright lying to the love of your life and your children and all your friends around you. So you, Robert, cannot continue to lie to yourself by saying, well, the past 6 months.
Next, the action plan they didn't want to hear.
That's probably what I was afraid you were going to say.
And later, you ask Susie, can I afford it?
And the internet price is roughly about $25,000.
So that's a good deal.
I have about $4,000 in credit card debt.
This has been going on for 7 years. 7 years you have been outright lying to the love of your life. And Melissa, tell me how you feel now about Robert. Tell me what you really want to see happen on this show and what you really want to see happen between the two of you.
Well, from the show, I'd like to see, I'd like for us to receive some guidance about how to move forward.
Financially speaking.
Financially speaking, yeah. I think the relationship with Robert, I think time will tell. There's a lot of hurt feelings. There's a huge trust issue. There's going to be some counseling in the future.
Right.
And I think, we're both committed to doing that right now, and that's really important to both of us. But right now, we kind of both agree that getting this financial thing in order is what is the priority.
Here's the thing. So many times, and I know you probably feel this as well, people wish they could turn back the hands of time. If only they could reset to 7 years ago when all of this started for the two of you and you could have come clean then, just think how your life would be.
Amen.
Well, we can't reset and go back 7 years, but we can reset the future clock for you to stand in your truth starting today. The lie started, and really big time, when you bought a house that you could not afford. And this isn't about just continuing to live a lie. What I want for the two of you is I want you both to stand in your truth, to be able to show the world who you really are, to have integrity, to have honesty, and to also be able to show the kids or whatever what it takes to have an honest relationship. So this is my financial advice for you, and I really, really hope that you take it. I want you to sell the home that you are living in, move into an apartment that you can afford, rent something now. Really, you can rent something around where you are. Cut a few expenses out of your spreadsheet that I saw. Vacations, eating out, all of those things have to be given up for you to get back in touch with reality and for you also to be able to recoup everything in a very short period of time. How does that make you feel, Melissa?
Scared.
Because?
That's probably what I was afraid you were going to say, to sell the house.
And why does that scare you?
Well, it's not the house, it's the community and the school system.
Did you not tell my producer that you never would have purchased this house if you had known?
I did. No, I never.
Right. And now you know. You cannot stay in this house because you cannot afford it if you are going to turn everything around and get out of debt in an intelligent way. Robert, how do you feel when I say this?
It makes me unsettled. I mean, but I understand what you're saying. It makes me nervous. It makes me, and it makes me sad to hear it. Because, again, I have to own the fact that, I put us into this position.
And you know why else it makes you nervous, Robert? because this puts you into a position that all your friends are going to start asking, what's up?
Sure.
That's now listen to me, Melissa. The reason, and I don't care what Robert said to me, I'm going to just tell you what I think here, and I've been doing this long enough that I hope you listen to me, is that Robert needs to come clean, not just with you. Robert needs to come clean with all of his friends and everybody around him so they know what happened here. You cannot be ashamed of what happened, and moving into rental or doing this sets the record straight for everybody, and Robert doesn't need to keep up pretenses anymore. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and think about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want, you can come back next week and we can talk about it again. But I am really begging you, do not put yourself in a financial situation where you do not have one penny to your name to access in case of an emergency. You both can save this relationship. You both can have a wonderful family again, but you have to stand in your truth.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
We want to buy a new travel trailer that has more space because we love camping.
I'm trying to figure out as I'm looking at all these numbers, how are you going to pay for it?
And
our boys have both moved out of the house to college now, and this would be our first vacation without our kids.
is he cruising for a bruising?
Can you look at your emergency fund? What do you want to buy?
Redecorate my living room, new travel trailer.
7-day Alaskan cruise.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This has been a heavy show, if you ask me, so let's lighten it up and let's have some fun, and that's Can I Afford It? So this is where you call in. You tell me what it is you want to buy, and I tell you if you can afford it or not, and you better listen to me, all right? Dina, what do you want to buy?
Suze, I have wanted to buy a BMW since I was a teenager, which I am no longer a teenager and haven't been for several years. But I found one used. It's a 2013. It's got less than 3,000 miles on it, and the internet price is roughly about $25,000.
So that's a good deal.
I said, well, it is, but I'm a little worried about why is it so low in mileage, and why is it Why is it in the used car lot?
Probably because they bought a car they couldn't afford. Anyway, girlfriend, show me the money.
All right. My husband and I, we have a take-home combined of $5,600, and that's all of our income. And then we have expenses of roughly about $5,446 a month.
Yeah.
All right. We have a fixed mortgage. We owe $261,000 on. We just purchased a solar system for the house. That's $23,000 on a 10-year loan. And we have about $8,000 left in the car that I currently drive, which we would end up trading in. And we also have a recreational vehicle. So together we owe about $8,000. And then I have about $4,000 in credit card debt. So that's where we are with that.
Yeah.
And then in savings, we have about $26,000 that's liquid, $30,000 that's invested, and we have about $333,000 in retirement.
Great.
And my husband.
Yeah, but how are you going to pay for this? I just have to ask, how are you going to pay for this?
It would be a loan. We would get a car loan through our credit union.
You would you? So there you go. You are denied. You are so denied, I can't even tell you. You are going to keep that Hyundai that you have. You do not need to trade it in. I looked at your mileage on it. You only have 55,000 miles on it. You don't have enough in emergency funds. You've been spending. Trailer, solar, this, that. Are you kidding? Denied. Amy, what do you want to buy?
Hi. Thank you, Suze, so much for letting me on your show.
What do you want to buy?
I want to spend $15,000 to redecorate my living room, my playroom for my son, and my dining room. I recently bought a new home, and all the furniture is mismatched, but my housing costs have doubled, so I am a little bit concerned about it.
You know, it's so funny. Everybody says, can I afford to buy a home? I always want to say, can you not only afford to buy a home, can you afford to change the furniture, the silverware, the plates, and everything, because you're going to want everything new, so it can be expensive to buy a new home. Girlfriend, show me the money.
Sure. So my take-home pay is $9,000 a month.
Great.
My expenses are $8,177 per month.
All right.
For debt, I have $622,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage and $15,000 in student loans. I have no credit card debt.
Good.
In savings, I have $68,000 in liquid, $125,000 in investments, $715,000 in retirement, and $35,000 in a college 529 plan.
And how are you going to pay for this?
So I would take it out of my liquid savings.
You would, denied, because that brings you to $53,000, and you should have at least $72,000 in your emergency fund. Erin, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. We want to buy a new travel trailer that has more space because we love camping. We're going to keep it for the next 10 years. It costs $18,000, and we just sold our old one for $7,900, so we put all that money towards the new one, so it ended up being about $10,000.
I got it. All right. So, but show me the money so I see if you have that $10,000 to be able to buy it.
Okay. So our take-home is $84.66 a month combined.
Great.
Our expenses are $6,042 a month.
Yep.
The debt we have, that's $139,000 on a 20-year fixed mortgage. And in savings, we have $64,000 liquid, $8,700 in investments, and $76,000 in retirement.
And let's see. I'm trying to figure out as I'm looking at all these numbers, how are you going to pay for it?
By cash, out of our liquid funds, out of our savings.
And all you're going to take out of the liquid savings is $10,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct. And so here's the scoop. You have been approved, but listen to me closely here. I need you to be maxing out your retirement accounts and doing that. But at 33, Erin, really, if all you want is $10,000 and not the $18,000, go ahead and do it. All right, Len, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. My wife and I, we'd like to take a 7-day Alaskan cruise and spend 4 nights in Seattle. The total cost would be $5,100. Our boys have both moved out of the house to college now, and this would be our first vacation without our kids.
So let me tell you something. This last summer here, I went to Alaska. It was the most incredible thing I've ever done in my life. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
It is stunning. All of you out there, if you've never been to Alaska and you can afford it, I am here to tell you, go, go, go. Beautiful, maybe the most beautiful state out there. All right, Len, I really want you to go because I think everybody should see Alaska. So show me the money.
Okay, Susie, our take-home pay is $7,246 combined per month.
Good.
Our expenses are $4,305 a month.
Even better.
We have no debt and own our home outright.
I love that.
In liquid savings, we have $21,000. Retirement, we have $512,000, and we have $55,000 in 529 college plans.
Great. How are you going to pay for it?
Well, my wife just traded in her minivan, so she's got a car that gets much better gas mileage. We can save $100 a month there. And with the boys moved out of the house, we're going to save about $300 a month in groceries. So we thought we'd start a little separate little savings account, put $400 a month in it for about a year, and use that to pay for it.
And use that. Great. Denied. And I know. And because, can you look at your emergency fund? I need at least $32,000 in an emergency fund. I'm not joking when I say you need 8 months of an emergency fund. You need 8 months of an emergency fund. You don't need less than that and then go to Alaska. Do me a favor. Save the emergency fund, then save the money, then you can go. I think it is Kang. Kang, is that how you say your name, or is it Kang?
It's Kang, like kangaroo without the root part.
You got it, Kang. What do you want to buy?
Yes, ma'am. May I purchase a 40-lesson golf package for $2,300? I really enjoy playing golf but the struggle is real when I'm on the course.
Yeah, it's bad to be out there and everybody makes the ball, that whiz. You know that sound it makes?
Yes,
and I hit it and it goes pump, 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 pump. So anyway, show me the money.
My take home is $3,500 a month.
Yep.
My expenses are $2,004 a month, and that includes $765 a month for rent.
Yep.
I have no debt. And in savings, I have $8,000 in liquid, $16,000 in investments, and $97,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
Cash money, ma'am.
Cash money, ma'am. All right, my boyfriend, you are on hold. Hey, and I just think if you were to save up to this, because you need $16,000 in an emergency fund, you only have $8,000. So in about a year, if you could just save the extra money that you're making and save up for it, you're only going to be 28 years of age then, maybe 29, then do it. But not now. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. And if, in fact, we choose you to be on the air, guess what I'm going to send you? It's free. You can afford it. Advice is free. I'm going to send you a T-shirt with my decision on it for you.
Up next, what's trending? A bad move.
You never should have done that. It is the biggest mistake you have ever made. Why in the world did you do that?
And later, will a late start derail Kathy's retirement?
You don't have the money if you continue to do everything the way that you're doing it. But there's hope. Welcome back, everybody. Look around. Here we are, CNBC headquarters control room. So many ways for you to be part of the Suze Orman Show. All you have to do is take a look at your screen. You can send in an email, join me on Facebook, or if you send in a tweet and put hashtag AskSuze, it comes to us here, and if we choose the tweet, your tweet will be on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. We have at Social Chris 34. I'm 20. I signed as the co-buyer on a truck for my buddy. Will it help my credit score even though I'm not the main buyer? Well, my dear Social Chris, you obviously have not been watching the Suze Orman Show for all the years that we have been on. You obviously do not know that my one never, ever, ever thing that one should do is be a co-signer on a loan or a co-buyer on a loan. Yeah, it's true. If your friend always pays the bills on time, maybe it will help your FICO score, your credit score. But if your friend misses a payment, if your friend can't make the payments, it is going to devastate your FICO score. But here's the other news. Not only is it going to devastate your FICO score, you are going to be responsible for those payments. Do you understand that, sir? So you never should have done that. It is the biggest mistake you have ever made. If I were you, I would be having my friend pay me, and I would be paying the bills on that car so you would know if a payment was being missed or not. Why in the world did you do that? Let's go to Iowa. On webcam, we have Lauren. What do you need to know?
Hi, Susie. My husband and I were thinking of buying a new home, but weren't sure how much to spend. Do you have a general rule of how much to spend of your take-home pay?
And are you thinking about a particular house? Did you find one?
No, we're just thinking of starting to look.
Starting to look. All right. Here's what you need to know. First of all, you should buy what you need, not what you can afford. You know, you might be able to afford a $500,000 home with maybe 2 or 3 bedrooms or whatever it is in your area. But the real question is, do you need a $500,000 home? So it's not what you can afford. It's what do you need? And if you can need less than what you can afford, that is what you should buy. However, here's the best way to know. You should play house. You should look at the houses that you do want and need. Figure out what the mortgage payment would be on that with 20% down. Make sure you also have an 8-month emergency fund besides the 20% down. So figure out what your mortgage payment would be with a 30-year fixed. Make sure you know your property taxes, what your insurance will be, maintenance will be, and then, like I said, play house. Put that amount of money every single month away and see, can you afford that? Put it into a savings account if you're currently renting, minus your rent from that. If it's easy for you in 6 months, you'll know that you could easily afford that kind of a house and you'll have a whole lot of money saved. That's how I would do it. All right, everybody, let's go back to the studio. Here's what's coming up next.
Kathy asks Suze,
how am I doing? Now I'm earning a great salary, but playing catch up with my retirement.
Are you surprised when you look back how far you've really come on your own?
I'm very surprised.
And later, test your money smarts in Suze's Pop Money Quiz.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 50 years old, divorced, and a single mom to 2 kids. I always worked hard, but without a college degree, I never got raises. So I went to school and earned my associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees without taking any student loans. Now I'm earning a great salary, but playing catch-up with my retirement. My goal is to retire at 67, spend time with my family, and volunteer working with animals. Susie, how am I doing?
Kathy, was that English Springer Spaniel, was that your doggie?
Yes, it's actually a basset hound.
Oh, it's a basset hound. I see without glasses, what do I know? Right. It looked like I used to have a little English Springer Spaniel by the name of Radcliffe. Loved her. Anyway, girlfriend, welcome to the Suze Orman Show. Here you are, single mom, doing it on her own. And may I say, you are doing a great job. Are you surprised when you look back how far you've really come on your own?
I'm very surprised.
Yeah. All of us have more potential in us than we have any idea. But you want to know, can you retire in 17 years at 67? If you are going to give yourself a grade, what grade would you give yourself?
I would give myself a C.
A C. All right, let's see what I give you. Let's show everybody first your money. So here we have Kathy, who is 50. She has $22,000 in a retirement plan right now. $22,000 in an emergency fund right now. $52,000 in investments, $180,000 home, which she owes $133,000 on. So between her debt and her assets, at the age of 50, she has a net worth of $143,000, but she wants to retire in 17 years. We have income here of $5,225. That's her take home. We have monthly expenses of $2,892. So that leaves her in excess of $2,333 a month, which she is using to fund her Roth IRA and to put money in a savings account and everything like that. Now, Kathy, if I were going to give you a grade, if you continue to do everything exactly like you are doing it, the grade I would give you is a D. And the reason I would give you a D, listen closely, is because I've set a goal for you at the age of 67 of about $3,800 a month. If you do everything like you're doing right now, you're still going to have 4 more years left on your primary mortgage. And other things are going on. So with everything, I only have $3,667 a month for you after taxes. I have a $3,800 a month goal for you, which is still cutting it close, at $3,800. You don't have the money if you continue to do everything the way that you're doing it. But there's hope, because here is your way to an A. So take notes, girlfriend. First of all, I want you to get a living revocable trust. I need you to get at least a 10-year level term insurance policy for $500,000 to protect your kids. After that is in place, I want you to cancel this whole life insurance policy that you have been paying on for 20 years. It makes absolutely no sense. If you were to cash out these policies, it would give you $21,000. It will not be taxable to you because you've paid in more than you're going to withdraw. I then want you to take that money, and I want $15,000 of it to do what? To pay off your home equity line of credit that you currently have that you're paying $215 a month on. You will have $6,000 left from your cash out. You're going to take that, put it in your emergency fund. The $215 a month that you were paying towards your home equity line of credit, you now are going to pay towards your primary mortgage. So at the age of 67, your mortgage will be paid off. Please check with your mortgage company to make sure that that's all you need to pay off the mortgage at 67 or even before that. If you do all of those things, then your necessary goal at that point, because you don't have a mortgage, would be about $3,200 rather than the $3,800 that I had you at. You'll be still bringing home $3,667 after taxes. So you could do it if you wanted to. If you really wanted to be safe and sound and secure, The best thing you could do would be to work till 70. That would give you so much more money. Take Social Security at 70. That could give you $1,000, $2,000 more a month, believe it or not, with everything involved. And that would be your way to an A+. But you could probably do it at the age of 67 if you do everything that I just told you to do.
Up next, one more thing Suze wants you to know.
I asked them to sell their home, and I was surprised at their reaction. Time to test your money smarts in a Suze Pop Money Quiz. You're 35 years old. You've put $15,000 in your Roth IRA over the past 3 years, and you need to take money out for an emergency. How much can you take out tax and penalty free? A, none. You're not 59 and a half years old. B, $5,000. C, $15,000. D, $10,000. The answer after the break. Before the break, I asked, if you're 35 and have put $15,000 in your Roth IRA, how much can you take out tax and penalty free? The answer is C. You can withdraw anything you originally put in, regardless of age or length of time it's been in there. It's the growth of the money you can't touch. It's almost a wrap for the Suze Orman Show, but before we go, there's still one more thing I want you to know. Earlier tonight, we had Melissa and Robert on, and here was a situation where Robert had lied to Melissa. Melissa thought they had about $100,000 in savings, no credit card debt, but the truth of the matter is they had $70,000 of credit card debt, no money in savings. They bought a house that they really couldn't afford at a time that they did buy it. I asked them to sell their home, and I was surprised at their reaction. Now, I understand that they did not want to sell this home that they moved into because most likely they didn't want to move because of the school district, and they want their kids to stay in the same area. All right, sell the home and rent. But here's what I'm afraid of. Sometimes when situations like this happen, you're afraid to sell the house. You're afraid to take actions because what it will do to the kids. You want to make sure that the kids get to keep their home, they get to keep in the area, whatever it is. If you really want to teach your kids lessons about money, the greatest lesson you can ever teach them is the lesson of honesty. The lesson of, doesn't matter what you have, all that matters in life is who you are. And you could be proud no matter what. I can only pray that Melissa and Robert follow my advice, that they do sell the home, even if they have to do a rental, they stay in the neighborhood, whatever it may be. But just remember, everybody, standing in the truth is the best financial move you will ever make. Now you know. So until next week, there's really only one thing that I want you to remember besides standing in the truth when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.